Boom. All right, folks. Man, that was fun, right? Like that. That was fun. That was fun. I'm gonna tell you why I wanted to start off with that song tonight. When I was speaking at 10x, this picture of me speaking at 10x was I was an underdog. I was the unknown. I was the person that nobody expected. I was the little engine that could, right? Like, who is this Coach Burt dude? On day one, we sold no books. On day two, we sold no books. I was so naive. I only had one dude there selling books for me. That's how uh, under the radar I was. But let me tell you something, folks, and that's what we're going to be talking about it tonight. That is when I thrive, is by using and converting either real or perceived. This is very, very, very important. Real or perceived negative feedback and emotion and criticism, and converting that to rocket fuel, right, Cecilia? So tonight we're going to talk about how to use the dark side of Prey Drive, and I'm so excited about covering this topic for you. One day I'm sitting at my um, house and I'm thinking, man, this Prey Drive concept is getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And I was on the phone with McGraw-Hill today, who's publishing this book for me that they're telling me will come out in February of 2022, but I've got to have it written by May 31st. And I'm thinking, man, there is so much dimension to this concept. There is so much meat on the bone for me to cover. I've covered Prey Drive in activating it in yourself. I've covered Prey Drive in activating it in others, Prey Drive in your team, Prey Drive in your spouse. What does God have to say about Prey Drive? Like I've covered all these concepts, but what I've very seldom covered is how do you use the dark side of Prey Drive? And we all have a dark side. How do we use these negative emotions? And tonight we're going to tackle fear, disappointment, anger, animosity, rejection, lack of focus, jealousy, comparison, what most people would consider ugly emotions. And how do we convert these emotions to activation of the Prey Drive? And I want you to think about the concept of conversion. So if you're just watching tonight, tonight's the first night that you plugged in. We've got looks like 82 people who are on here with us tonight. Some of you are new to the equation. My name is Coach Micheal Burt. I believe everybody needs a coach in my life. I, from 19 to 31, was at the second largest high school in Tennessee. And man, I was a stone cold killing machine. I was tough, disciplined, no nonsense, no nothing. And I had one singular focus, and that was to take a place that had never won. It was really a laughing stock, and to convert it to a national championship program, to a program that was a winner. I was to take a loser and turn it into a winner. I got mocked, ridiculed. The football coach came in one day and took all of my equipment and threw it down to the lower level because I was practicing in the off season, and he wanted to use the gym. Cussed out, spit on, sued. I mean, you name it, man. From 19 to 31, I had one focus, and I had so much negative energy. I remember one night after a game, we lost a game on the road, and I took my team into the other team's practice facility and practiced my team for 2 hours after the game in their gym. And they were trying to have their homecoming dance. And I locked the doors from the inside. The police had to come in there and get me. That's how competitive I was. That was some of the dark side of Prey Drive. And as I was thinking about it, my question to you would be, was that a good thing or a bad thing? Like the world would say, man, that's over the top, right? Like that's over the right. Like that's a little too much, coach. Like you're really too obsessed. Well, was I? Because in 10 years, I built a program that won ultimately 7 of 9 championships, became the number 1 team in the country at least 3 or 4 times. So was the negative that I experienced a negative, or was it a positive? Was it what drove me? Was it what fueled me? Was it after a loss, the sense of rejection that I felt? that would keep me up all night and bring the team in at 4:30 in the morning. We learned to hate losing more than we like winning, but we produced champions. And even to this day, the people that played for me have a competitive drive and spirit. So did I do them a disservice or a service? So tonight we're going to talk about this concept of harnessing what would perceive to be negative emotion or negative attributes and converting them into things that really help you do something big. Because I believe with all of my heart, I'm an intense and positive guy, but I can be negative just like everybody else can. I can be hardcore like everybody else can. I can have all of these emotions like everybody else can. I can feel in 1 minute I can do anything, and the next minute I'm scared to death. I can feel I'm ready to take on the world, and then I'm ready to contract. I'm ready to do something big, and then I'm scared, right? Like I have the same emotions you do. But what I've learned to do over my lifetime is I've learned to convert those emotions to positive actions. So if you're here tonight and you're asking yourself a question, man, I know there's a dark side. I get jealous. I have envy. I have competition. I have negative emotion. I push people too hard. I push people away, and you want to learn how to convert that. How do you use it to positive? Then you're at the right place. If you're here tonight and you want to see a different facet of Pray Drive, or you felt rejected your whole life, or you feel like you're not good enough, or you won't make an outbound effort because of something, or you need constant approval from other people, like, you're at the right place tonight. If you're here and you're like, man, I need to activate my Pray Drive, then you're at the right place tonight. And I do these webinars to get my message out to the world. And we typically have 100 to 200 people register for these. And in a few weeks, I'm going to be doing a full half day on the concept of Pray Drive. And if you're interested in that, my team's going to post the link. It's like $57, but I'm going to deconstruct this whole concept. It's getting deeper. It's getting better. I would tell you, I've become fascinated and motivated with it. What activates the drive, the Pray Drive in a person. So let's get started tonight. There's going to be interaction. I'm going to have you ask questions. Um, I'm going to have you engage with me, right? And then throughout the conversation, we're gonna push you to take action on the half a day. If you can't come to the half a day, no problem. You get the replay. And I really want to encourage you to get this, because I am convinced, number one, that Pray Drive is in each of us. If you don't know the story of Pray Drive, I was sitting in a workshop with a guy named Bob Samara. Bob Samara was in the military division of the Vietnam War. And his job every morning was to wake up in the middle of the jungle, no lights, no people, no nothing, just him and an animal, a dog. And he and that dog went ahead of the infantry. Think about any day you think you got it tough, any day you think you got a hard job, any day you think your job sucks. It doesn't suck as bad as this dude's job. He would go out into the jungle in the Vietnam War, and he would talk about this dog having a prey drive. And the prey drive in the animal was the animal's ability to, listen to these things, stalk, capture, and kill prey. That is prey drive in an animal. I see it, I pursue it with an intensity, and I kill it. And he's talking about the dog having a prey drive. And I'm sitting there after 28 years of coaching people. Maybe I'm 40, 41 years old. I'm 44 now. And I'm like, that's it. I'm like, humans have a prey drive. It is the human's ability to see something with the eyes or in the mind, in the imagination, and have the persistence and the intensity to pursue it. Now, notice what I said. It's got to be activated. There's three components to it. It's got to be activated. I would tell you in almost every scenario, it's activated by an external factor. It's not activated internally in you. You think you wake up, I'm going to turn that prey drive on. Folks, many times it's because of a slight. It's because somebody said something about you. It's because somebody said you weren't good enough. Because somebody mocked you. Because somebody told you that you would never be anybody. It's because somebody made fun of you. It's because something embarrassed you. Right? That external factor is what motivated you. I always played better after we lost. I always worked harder when I went broke. I always come back more when my back's against the wall. I always push harder when I think I got something to prove. That is prey drive. So in a human, like, right, in an animal, it is the animal's ability to stalk, capture, and kill prey, man. It's like I see it and I'm going after it. When I wrote the book Zebras and Cheetahs, a cheetah has a 60% close ratio. 60% of the time, the cheetah wakes up in the morning, stalks what it's going after, boom, goes and gets it. Well, I'm sitting in that workshop and I'm like, humans have a prey drive. And it is the human's ability to see it with the eyes or optically with the mind. Right? It's like Oren Klaff said when he wrote Pitch Anything. The croc brain, your croc brain, when it meets somebody else, it wants to do three things: kill it, eat it, or sleep with it. That's the instinct. I want to kill it. I want to eat it. I want to mate with it. That's the brain, right? I like it. I want it. I'm pursuing it. Well, prey drive in the human has got these three components: boom, activation. Okay, and we're going to talk about that tonight. How to use fear to activate your prey drive. How to use embarrassment to activate your prey drive. How to use disappointment to activate your prey drive. How to use rejection to activate your prey drive. Real or perceived. See, this is the beauty. There was a person that came to see me speak once, and she was a publicist, a big time publicist, and she happened to live in my city. And she always looked down on me, or at least I felt that she looked down on me. Like I would never be a big motivator. I would never be big in the personal development space. I'd never write best-selling books. I always needed this other dude. And she would always make these kind of condescending comments to me. And I spoke once and connected with the audience, I thought, and they asked her, how did I do? And she said, oh, he's a good coach. He's a good high school basketball coach. Folks, I've never forgotten that. I've never forgotten. When I signed the deal with McGraw-Hill, I'm thinking about her. When I go out and make $1 million, I'm thinking about her. When I'm trying to build 50 greatness factories, I'm thinking about her. I'm thinking about that perceived slight. Now, she don't care about me. She's moved on to something else. She didn't care about me then. She probably don't care about me now. She probably still thinks she's better than me in some way. I would outmatch my production versus hers 30 times to 1, guys. And here's the deal. I have used that slight for years to play at a higher frequency. That one thing, that one comment. Now she may say, look, I like Michael. I've always liked Michael. I didn't mean to, right? It don't matter. That activated something inside of me, that sense of rejection. So I want you to think I'm able to use that feeling over and over and over and over again. When I got to the high school I coached at, they used to tell me that you'll never win a championship. This is the worst women's basketball job in the state of Tennessee. Like, this is a football school. I heard this over and over and over. This is a football school. And I'm like, every time I heard that, I said, man, I'm going to make it a women's basketball championship. And they would smile and say, good luck, great, great. We believe that. So just listen to this statement. When pursuing the prey, in the animal, and I believe this is true in humans, there is no greater external motivator for the animal than the mere ability to pursue the prey. Now, this is very important. How many of you on here, by a raise of hands or a comment, that once you caught something, you were immediately bored with it, right? Once you actually achieved it, you were disengaged with it, right? Let's look at all these people. Okay. So here's the psychology part. It's not capturing the prey that motivates you, folks. It is the pursuit of the prey that motivates you. Okay. And this is where you got to get to a very, very high level. When you watch what I'm doing, you say, man, why is this dude always doing this? There was another coaching company that called me today and wanted me to purchase their coaching company. And when you see me building greatness factories and doing this thing and doing that thing, and you're like, man, why can't the dude ever be satisfied? It's not, I can be satisfied. It's, I need something in front of me, true man, to push toward, or I'm bored. So think of your energy as dynamic, static, or entropic. We're miserable and unhappy human beings when we're stuck, when we're bored, when we're in a rut, right? Satisfied needs never motivate people, only unsatisfied needs. So what we're pushing toward is this idea of self-actualization, this idea that we are actualizing our deepest human potential. Like, there's always another level. There's always somebody playing at a higher frequency. There's always something to pursue. There's always a goal to reach. There's always a game to play. Joe Paterno, when they fired him at Penn State, was dead in less than 6 months. He ran out of purpose, man. He ran out of purpose. I'm coaching a 74-year-old right now, a 71-year-old right now, right? And what I'm doing is, man, these dudes are going, man, I'm still got one more play in me. I'm pushing. So just remember, what we need to do big things in the world is we need rocket fuel. And that fuel does not come from satisfied needs. It actually comes from dissatisfied needs. Now, we're going to get into rejection tonight. Many of you know I didn't have a close relationship with my father growing up. He didn't come to one baseball game, one basketball game. I don't ever remember him telling me he loved me. He never hugged me. He right like I was raised primarily by a single mother, and and people ask me where does this drive to become known come from? Why did you write the book Person of Interest? And it hit me maybe when I was late 30s. Maybe my desire to do something big in the world was because I wasn't even really known by my own father. And I had this deep desire to say, I will become somebody. I will become known in the world. I will make a difference. My name, right? One day my father will be so proud of me, he'll tell other people. He'll tell other people that that's my son. And that's really what happened when I became a famous coach, is he began telling people, man, that's my son, right? People were asking him, isn't that your son? Like, that's my son. And so here's the deal. My question to you is, should I be mad at my dad or should I go back and thank him? In my opinion, I should go back and thank him, because I probably wouldn't be this super coach I am today if he had been the father that I wanted him to be. And so for you, that was an example of me using a negative emotion, rejection. Most people would lay down their whole life, say, my dad didn't know me, never loved me, never hugged me, never kissed me. Boom. Therefore, I'm not worth anything. My self-worth is low. I actually converted that and said, thank you, Dad. Because you didn't know me, I'm going to go out and be known all over the world. And one of these days, you're going to tell other people, man, that's my son. And I'm so proud of my son, right? Like one of these days. So tonight, we're going to get into these things, this pursuit of the prey. So think of it like this. You're at A. A is your current position, and B is where you're going to. B has to be clear. It's what I call a dominant aspiration. It's a single tangible outcome you're trying to drive in a 12-month cycle, is measured in 30-day windows, broken down, right? Even into a weekly goal, into a daily goal. That's what we call the dominant focus. And here's the deal. To get from A to B, you're going to have to sacrifice something. Some of you got to sacrifice your sensitivity. Some of you got to sacrifice your expectation, your low expectation you got. Some of you got to sacrifice um, time away from your family. Some of you got to sacrifice an hour of sleep. Some of you got to sacrifice your old ways of thinking, your bad habits. Some of you got to sacrifice something, man. Because when you make a decision to go pro, you got to know this mindset. This is the mindset of King David in the Bible. It's going to be a fight, but dadgummit, we're going to win. It's going to be a fight, but dadgummit, we're going to find a way to win. We're going to wake up every day and pursue our potential. And it's going to be hard. Okay. And Michael Coates, I'm going to address your question. How do you use fear? Being paralyzed, confused. I'm going to talk about that in just a few minutes. Now, there are suppressors of this prey drive, guys, that you got to understand. So just remember this: satisfied needs never motivate people, only unsatisfied needs. The greatest problem we're fighting in America right now is complacency. And complacency is a gradual settling to a place of mediocrity. We become complacent when all of our needs are met. We got a good house. We got shelter over our head. We've got this. We've got a good family. We got a good this. We make good money. If you study every motivational theory in the world, they all say the same things. We move toward things we want. If we're thirsty, we move toward water. If we're hungry, we move toward food. If we're lonely, we move toward people. What happens when all of our basic needs are met? We don't want anything. So what do? That suppresses our prey drive. Okay. And to Michael's question, my natural answer is, when in doubt, take an action. When in doubt, take an action. When in doubt, pick up the phone. When in doubt, make a phone call. When in doubt, nudge somebody. When in doubt, text message somebody. When in doubt, go to an event. You'll never go wrong, folks. Never. When you're in doubt, when you take an action, you're only going to go wrong when in doubt, you are paralyzed. You're never going to accomplish anything in the world when you get to a place of scarcity and you don't take an action, right? Money and opportunity follows energy. follows circulation, follows movement. It never follows stagnation. That's right. When in doubt, pay $57 and come to my flip the switch boot camp. Now, let's get into some negative emotion. Okay. And this is really, really critical. And you say, well, why is this important? I'm a big believer in the whole person theory. And the whole person theory says that you're made up of four parts. You're made up of a body, a mind, a heart, and a spirit. Each of these parts produce different needs, different intelligences, different capacities, right? Different dimensions. The body's need is to live, right? The body's need is to live. That's skill and discipline. The mind's need is to learn. That's knowledge. The heart's need is to love and be loved, right? And that's where passion comes from, compassion, drive, energy. The spirit's needs connect to a higher power, to leave a legacy, to matter. Okay. And you say, why is this important to understand these four parts? Because when you get your heart broken, or you perceive to get your heart broken, or your spirit crushed, this is a natural time that people contract to a place of comfort. Okay. Everybody see that? So let me give you an example. 25 years old. I go through a terrible breakup. Person I thought I was going to marry, bought an engagement ring. She broke up with me before I gave her the engagement ring. I went through what I would call clinical depression. I was on antidepressants. I couldn't get out of bed. I threw up every morning. While I'm the coach, I'm at 25 years old. I'm coming off a 28-3 season. I'm about to go out right, and I am a wreck, man. I am an absolute mess. I feel complete rejection. I want her. She don't want me. I have to take an engagement ring back. Folks, it's a lonely day when you got to take an engagement ring back. And they ask you at the jeweler, uh, was this a broken engagement? Right. And I'm like, I will punch you in the face. Why do you think I'm bringing the engagement ring back? Of course, it's a broken engagement. And I went through 6 months of deep, deep depression. I mean, felt rejected, totally, totally in a funk, threw up every morning, lost 30 or 40 pounds while I was the head coach. And I'm going through this period of my life, and this would be a dark side, man. And I'm angry, and I'm mad, and I'm grieving, and I'm having all these emotions. And everywhere I would go, every single place I would go, people would coddle me. They would say, "Man, I can't believe she did that to you. You're such a good dude. I can't believe she's missing out on this. I can't believe, right? I can't believe you did it." Man, everybody gave me sympathy, which was the worst thing people could do for me. I couldn't convert this negative into a positive, feeling like I was a victim. I couldn't convert this negative to a positive, feeling like she had control and power over me. See, I had disempowered my own self, and I allowed her weakness to control me. Never place your destiny in another person's hands. Never give your confidence to another person. Never give your self-worth up to another person. And so I'm going along about this time, and 6 months into it, man, and I step outside of my house one day, and my stepdad was there, who had never said a negative word to me in my life. And I start out the same pattern. I can't believe, right? She did this to me. Everywhere I went, people would give me sympathy, make me feel good for a minute. It was like cotton candy. And my stepdad was shoveling. I remember it, shoveling, picking it up, shoveling, picking it up. And he put that shovel in the ground, and he said, "Let me tell you what I can't believe. I can't believe a person that's as talented as you would allow a person like her to keep you from reaching your potential. I think it's about time you got your head out of your ass and you started becoming what you were truly capable of becoming, because you're letting your past hold your future hostage. And I wouldn't let that girl," he didn't say that, he said something else, "keep me from reaching my potential anymore." The minute he said that, there was a conversion that took place. 6 months of heartache, 6 months of depression, 6 months of that. And I'm like, boom, he's right. Let's go, folks. And I convert this negative feeling into an action. It's her loss, not my loss. I'm going to do something big with my life. I have all this potential. I got all this talent. He's right. And from that moment forward, I moved out of grief into anger. Now, this is important. because this ain't no practice life, folks. Some of you going through heartbreak. You're going through hell right now. You're going through problems right now. You're going through low confidence right now. And you have allowed something or someone in your past to hold your future hostage. And as my buddy Tim Story says, when you have a setback in life, you sit, you settle, and if you don't do something about it, you cement. And some of you are cemented. You're sitting and you're settling in something in the past. And it is time for you to use that experience for the benefit of other people. So I sat down and I said, all right, here's the deal. I'm going to write a book about confidence. And it's going to be one of the best books I've ever written. And I'm going to work my way out of this funk that I'm in. And I'm going to convert this negative feeling to a book I wrote called Swag, which became one of my best books. It's a book about confidence. What is it? It's a memory of success. It's about how you lose it. It's about how you maintain it. It's about how you get it back, right? Because I needed to get my swag back. Now I'm using this negative thing, this perceived rejection, and I'm converting it. Listen, fear is your friend. Disappointment is your friend. Anger is your friend. Rejection is your friend. Okay. Jealousy is your friend. Comparison is your friend, because these negative emotions are exactly what we need to go do something big in the world. You name one major organization that wasn't started to stop some injustice in the world. Name one big thing you've done that just because when somebody else told you you could do it and patted you on the back. No, you need the fuel. You need the anger. You need the excitement. You need the motivation. You need the fear. You need the negativity. So during this period, I'm going through life that I felt rejected, and a person comes along. I talk about this woman in my book. Everybody needs a coach in life. This beautiful Italian woman comes along named Octavia Fontana. And she said, the way you're looking at this is all wrong. She's like, there is no such thing as rejection. You see yourself as being rejected. You wanted her. She didn't want you. You see yourself as being rejected. She's like, just because she didn't want what you have to offer doesn't mean there won't be a lot of other people that want exactly what you have. And I've never forgotten that, folks. There is no, listen to what I'm saying. There is no such thing as rejection. Some will want what you have. Some will not want what you have. So what? I'm only looking for people that are looking for me. It is so deeply embedded in us. I noticed that when you're here, like right now, there's 101 people on here. Even when one person drops off, your little screwed up brain thinks that person's rejecting you. Right? Even the most confident people walk off a stage and say, "How do you think I did? Like, did I do good enough? What did you think? Did you like it?" Right? I saw John Maxwell speak one night, one of the best speakers in the world. He comes off stage and he said, "Man, was that good enough? Was that good?" What he needed was that acceptance from people. We feel like we need that. I got to get you to the point, guys, that you don't need that acceptance from people. The only person you need acceptance from is you. The only person you need to know. Remember, let's go back to the beginning of Prey Drive. The animals is most motivated. The animal is most motivated by its ability to pursue the prey, not by capturing the prey. You see this picture of me speaking at 10X. When I listen to 10X, people talk about 10X. There are people say, after the 10X, they ask people, who was your favorite person? And, I'm good friends with Tim Grover, who's incredible. Tim Story, who's incredible. Bradley, those are good friends of mine. And, but your natural tendency is if they say, hey man, Ed Milet was my favorite speaker, or so-and-so, Russell Brunson was my favorite speaker, man, a little part of you is like, well, damn, man, why wasn't I your favorite speaker? Right? Here's the deal. Some will, some won't. So what? I was some people's favorite speaker. I wasn't everybody's. You got to get past this point. You got to get past this point. You got to get past this concept of needing other people's approval. So the negative side of Prey Drive is this, okay? How do I use rejection? I use rejection. I say, thank you. Thank you. Okay? Thank you. I don't need your approval. My confidence is not tied up in what you think about me. My confidence is tied up in, did I prepare and did I execute? And if I did, I don't need you. I don't need you to tell me that I was good. I don't need you to walk up and say it was great. Because isn't it interesting that when you do something big in the world, if you ever see big time people, when you walk up and tell them that you changed their life, or they've heard it so many times that they're numb to it. It's like, oh man, you changed my whole life. Thank you so much. It's incredible. It means something to them. But here's the deal. They know that they're that good. That's why they always go, thank you. I appreciate it. How many times has Garth Brooks, some people said to Garth Brooks, your music changed my life. I'm sure he's grateful for it, but he knows it's so powerful, it could change another person's life. So they're numb to it. Like, I've heard this 1,000 times, man. Thank you for saying it to me. But I know if you dig in with what I'm telling you, it's going to change your life. Here's the deal, because they don't need your approval. They've reached a point in their life that they don't need your approval. So let's take some of these. All right. Let's take fear and let's talk about the dark side of fear. Fear is an unpleasant emotion that is created by a belief that something is going to harm me in the future. Okay. Fear breeds vacillation, doubt, insecurity, lack of movement. Now, I want you to listen to the definition. Fear is an unpleasant emotion created by a belief that something's going to harm me in the future. Where did the belief come from? It comes from your past. You believe something, something happened to you, something eroded your confidence. Confidence is the memory of success. Fear is a memory of failure. Listen to the definition. Confidence is the memory of success. Fear is the memory of failure. The reason you're afraid is because you've had failure and you remembered that failure. And I can't reproduce. I can't reproduce the money. I can't reproduce the experience. I can't reproduce the win. I'm afraid people will laugh at me. So what happens with fear is it breeds vacillation. It breeds doubt. It breeds insecurity. Therefore, I can't make a decision. And that word means to kill off. How do you say thank you, fear? The fact that I'm afraid to do it means I probably should do it. So, how do I overcome a fear to take an action? It's the person I don't want to call. Today, I was calling a person that owes us some money, and nobody on my team wanted to call him. Nobody on my team wanted to pick up the phone and call the dude. And I said, give me the phone right now. I'm calling him right now. And everybody's like, oh God, coach is going to call him. Look, all the dude can do is hang up on me. All the guy can do is say he doesn't care. All the dude can do is, right. How do you remove that anxiety? You take an action. So when I'm afraid, and I'll go back to the beginning of this year, in March of this year, I was afraid I was going to lose my business, afraid I was going to have to lay everybody off, afraid I was going to have to sell some of my assets, afraid we weren't going to make money. Everybody was afraid, folks. It's a negative emotion. What do I do with that negative emotion? I made a simple statement. I'm going to convert this to a lot of action. I'm going to increase, and if you've been following me, I increased my social media. I increased the amount of free things I did. I increased the webinars. I increased the Instagram. I increased everything. And when I got afraid at the beginning of this year, here's what I did. I said, I'm going to multiply everything I'm doing. I'm multiplying everything. I'm not adding anything. I'm multiplying. I'm going to back events up back to back. I canceled one event and I regretted the second I canceled it. I regretted it. Okay. Because that's not me. My standard MO is to take an action when I get afraid. What is your standard MO when you get afraid? Every person on this call, 97 to 100 people on this call tonight, know somebody who can help them in 2021. You're afraid to pick up the phone and call them. You're afraid to make an ask. You're afraid to work the muscle. You're afraid of the rejection. You're afraid of the fear. So you're afraid of how much it'll cost you. So you don't do it. Like I was on a thing today with these people from California. I think Terry Gillum's on here. There's like 50,000 people in his Facebook group called Life After California. They don't like California. They don't like what's going on in California. They don't like the government in California. They don't like the taxes in California. All they like is the weather in California, and they're scared to freaking death to leave California. Here's the deal, man. How are you going to know that there could be a better place in the world if you're afraid to leave? What are they afraid of? What they're afraid of is that they can't reproduce the feeling they have in California. Okay, here's the deal. If you don't think you can thrive in California, then you freaking need to leave California. You need to get yourself in an environment. I was scared to death of selling this house that I got in Florida, man. I like the pool. I started getting an emotional attachment to it. Like, oh my God, what if we can't find another one? What if we can't do this? Here's the deal. There's other houses and there's nicer houses, folks. So if I'm going to make 400 or 500,000 bucks to sell the house, why would I be so afraid of leaving the house? Because we get attached to an idea. We get attached to a concept and we get emotional about the concept. When all we need to do is go, look, there's probably something better out there, man. And I'm doing it. I'm taking an action. I had a thought and I took an action. I blinked on it. Boom, let's go. So fear should be used when you're afraid to take some kind of action. Okay, I'm afraid to call this person. I'm afraid to ask for this. I'm afraid to ask for that. Fear can be used as a positive emotion. I'm thankful for you, fear, because if I wasn't afraid in March, I wouldn't have had the biggest month I've ever had in October. See, here's what I noticed, guys. After I had the big month in October, I let the gas off a little bit. I quit being so uh, persistent. I quit being so unreasonable. You know what? We had a big month. Now we can, you know why? I wasn't scared. I'm like, we're going to make it through it. Worst thing ever happened to me is I allowed fear to drive me for a period of time and it worked. Produced my biggest month ever. And then I had the big month and I'm like, all right, now we can let the gas off. And that's not what we need to do, folks. We need to wake up listen to the saying, we go to bed tired, we wake up hungry. It all goes to zero at midnight. Now you can literally lose it all to get you motivated, or you can pretend you lose it all. And that can motivate you. All right. So number one's fear. Now let's tackle disappointment. This is a negative emotion. Disappointment. Here's what I told my wife once. She started coaching some people because she wrote a book and some of the people hired her to coach. And she came home one night and she said, dadgummit, those women don't do one thing I tell them to do. Not one thing. I'm so disappointed. I'm putting all this time and energy into it and they don't do anything. And here's what I said to her. The reason you're disappointed because you're not helping enough people. She's like, what? I'm like, when you're helping 10 people and 4 of them disappoint you, it's a big deal. When you're helping 100,000 people and 4 of them disappoint you, it don't even bother you. If disappointment bothers you, it's because you're not helping enough people. Don't think about helping 10 people. Think about helping 10,000 people. Okay. I've been disappointed by my best friends, my own attorneys, my family members, people I've known my whole life, people that said they believed in me one day, hated me the next day, people that said I helped them make $10 million, but they wouldn't pay their coaching bill. I've been disappointed. We got one dude right now that said, that told everybody I changed his life. And then he said he didn't have anything to do with me because we made him pay his bill. Like, look, folks, disappointment does not bother me. Okay. Who you need to be disappointed in is your own self. Don't let other people disappoint you. Okay. What's the mindset of King David? It's going to be a fight, but dadgummit, we're going to win. It's going to be a battle. And if it ain't going to be a battle, I don't want to be involved in it. It ain't going to be easy. Name one thing in your life that you've ever done that was worthwhile, that was easy, that didn't require force, velocity, intensity, energy, right? You're not going to be able to name one where you say, you know what, it was just so easy, man. I made 20 million bucks. Man, it was so easy. I became number one, but it was so easy. There was no battles. There was no strife. There was no energy. There was no nothing, right? But man, dadgummit, we did it. Name one thing in your life that came to you that was easy. Okay. It ain't going to be easy. So this concept of disappointment, where did it come to you that you're going to go through life and you're not going to have any disappointment? You're not going to have any enemies. You're not going to have any people that hate on you. You're not going to have any people that try to bring you down. You're not going to have any people. Now, this is interesting because I'm watching that Undercover Billionaire, and I was on a Clubhouse last night with where they were talking about Undercover Billionaire, and Grant Cardone was on there. And obviously, I'll always be indebted to Cardone for putting me on stage at 10X, changed my life. He didn't have to do that. It's a lot of speakers he could have chosen, and he chose me, and that changed my life. And I was on this Clubhouse and people were asking him questions, and he said when he got to this, if you haven't watched the show, I really encourage you. It's very educational. He talks about getting to this city and he was mad and angry and disappointed and hurt. Man, I'm here. I can't believe I did this. This is hard. He was calling home to his wife. And his wife tried this method of motivating him by saying, hey, you can do it, suck it up. And I think he hung up on her like 7 or 8 times. And finally, she's like, look, I got to change my strategy. I got to change my strategy. And so then she started telling him about all the people that hated on him. Remember when that person tried to sue you? Remember when that person quit on you? Remember when that person went on YouTube and talked about you? Remember when that person hoped you went broke, right? And then he hung up on her again. But she said, this time I knew that it had done the trick. It was a conversion. First couple times, she's like, suck it up. You can do it. You're tough. You can do that. He just hung up on her. Then after about the 8th time, she's like, let me tell you all the people that have hated on you, all the people that want to see you go broke, all the people that want to destroy our empire, all the people that don't believe you can do it. Then he hung up on her and said, you're right. I'm doing it. That is how you use disappointment. That is how you use fear. That is how you use anxiety. That is how you use rejection. That is how you convert a negative to a positive. Here's what you say. That is my friend. That rejection is my friend. Thank you for saying that negative thing. But I want to go back to that publicist. Thank you for saying I'd never be a great writer or author or coach. Thank you, because I just signed a deal with McGraw-Hill. Actually, it's my 3rd published book. You know, I don't know if you know that or not, but we're going to make $10 million. And I wouldn't have done it if you wouldn't have said I was just a good speaker that one time. So thank you. These are your friends, right? That's what you got to understand. Now, let's take anger, because this is so important. I was thinking back when we used to lose those basketball games, and man, I was so angry. And I would stay up all night, and I would walk the floors. I would watch film. I would bring my team in at 4:30 the next morning, and I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed. It's fear of loss. That's the motivator. The embarrassment, right? The embarrassment of my name's going to be in the newspaper. People are going to talk about it around town. All my status and worth is tied up in what people think about me as a coach. And man, I would make sure we never lost like that again. Now, question for you. Is that a bad thing or a good thing? If those players that played for me over 10 years go to work now and they got a chance to win number 1 or be number 10, and I instilled that in them when they were 14 to 18 years old, although I had to do it that way, I had to take that anger and convert it. Is that a bad thing or a good thing? If I get mad at my 9-year-old kid or 8-year-old kid, and I get mad enough to make her never not pick her room up again, and because of that, she becomes this person in the world that always makes her bed, always cleans up, always takes care of everything. Is that a bad thing or a good thing? See, anger is such rocket fuel, right? Right? Anger is such rocket fuel. I'm hurt. You hurt my heart. You broke my spirit. You crush you crush my confidence, right? Here's the deal. You can't crush my confidence unless I let you. You can't make me mad unless I let you, right? That's why I say never wrestle with a pig, man. You both get muddy and the pig loves it. So here's my point. I have made up my mind that you don't control me. You can't dictate me. And a couple years ago, I went through a terrible, terrible breakup with some business partners. And I really found out how evil people can be when it comes to money. I was, um, I wanted to make the relationship right. They were only interested in the money part. I cared about the relationship. They cared about the money. And we had to go all the way to mediation. We went through 18 hours of mediation. I was hurt. I was broken. My spirit was crushed. I couldn't believe somebody had betrayed me like that. Man, it was a terrible experience. I just get emotional even thinking about it, that somebody would be that ruthless and evil to another person they believed in. And during that period, I was forced to study about conflict. So there was a book that Stephen Covey wrote called The Third Alternative. It was major conflict. I went to the Bible. What does the Bible say about conflict? And what I couldn't find anything. How do I handle this conflict? So I worked because of this experience, this expensive tuition. I began to study third alternative thinking. How many times in life do we have conflict? Every day, man. Every day there's conflict. Every day there's opposing beliefs. Every day there's opposition. Every day there's negativity. And I'm thinking, no, 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 this is a lesson. This lesson is teaching me how to use conflict, how to deal with conflict head on, how to, right? So I learned a formula. I learned how to sit down with another person during conflict and say, what would you like to get at? What's a win for you? What's a win for me? How can we come up with not your way or my way, but a better way? How do we work through when we have disagreement with other people? How do we, right? The lesson was teaching me how to deal with conflict. It was an expensive lesson. It was a costly lesson, but nonetheless, it taught me something. And during that period, man, I was so heartbroken, so broken spirited, so down, so out, so disgusted. It consumed all of my time and energy. And when I wrote a check to get rid of those people, those evil people in my life, here's what I said, man. Greatest lesson ever learned about how to deal with heartbreak, how to have proper expectation, how to set up something to always have an exit plan, how to, right? These are lessons that anger taught me, how to deal with conflict. So if you're out there tonight, and I'm going to give you one more, and then I'll take some questions, and you're out there and you want to learn more about this Pray Drive concept, I'm going to be doing a full boot camp, virtual boot camp on Pray Drive. And this thing will activate your Pray Drive like you cannot imagine. This is just one sliver of Pray Drive. On January the 20th, I'm doing a virtual summit on this Pray Drive concept, how to flip the switch in you. There's the link. It's $57. Spend 3 hours with me. This is great for your spouse, your kids, whoever you got, right? This will change everything for you when you really, really understand how to use conflict. Every one of you have conflict in your marriage, with your kids, with your coworkers, right? And you're learning how to use the conflict to play at a higher frequency. You're learning how to handle the conflict, okay? And so guess what? A few years ago, I taught a course on it, how to handle monster conflict. My church asked me to speak on something. I said, man, I want to talk about conflict. I want to talk about how to handle conflict. I want to talk about, right? And most conflict happens over money, by the way. It's our attachment to money where most conflict comes in. Money, material things, possessions, status. That's where most conflict comes from. Okay. Now, let me finish tonight with jealousy and comparison. I actually have a contrary belief about this. I believe that embarrassment and exposure are two great activators of prey drive. Meaning, when someone's outperforming you and you're watching them, and you could say, oh, they have this, or they have that, or they have this, or they have more resources than I do, or they get this. Or you could say, you know what, if they figured out how to do it, if I want a TV show and Cardone figure out how to get a TV show, I don't even be mad at Cardone. I need to figure out how to get a TV show. If another person makes 10, right? If another person makes $10 million, I don't need to get mad at them for making $10 million. I want to figure out how to make $10 million. I believe you should compare up, not down. Too many people look at themselves and they go, man, I got it better than that dude and better than that girl, and they ain't got it together. And man, my life is so good. I'm so lucky to have the life I have. Okay. I think it's great that you got the life you have. Okay. Let me ask you a question. Would you like a better life? And would you be willing to go get it? So I actually think when you're jealous of something, you need to check yourself before you wreck yourself. You need to say, you know what? That person wrote a best-selling book. How do I write a best-selling book? That person made this. How do I do that? I actually believe you should compare up. And you should ask a simple question. What is that person doing that I'm not doing? What do they know that I don't know? If they can play at that frequency, what frequency can I play at? Right where there's a will, there's a way. If they can do it, I can do it. I don't want you to get in this mindset of they have something I don't have, because that ain't true. They may work harder than you. They may have more confidence than you. They may have better connections to you. They may have more charisma than you. They may be able to communicate better than you. They may have removed any consideration and hesitation than you. But many times, Jimmy Bowler, they ain't smarter than you. So what I want you doing is actually using this comparison and removing any hesitation or consideration that you may have toward pursuing something. And I want you to go, man, if they can do it, I can do it. This is where I've come to in my life. I spoke once, and I've spoken in several situations, true man, where Yes, it will be in the light speed system, and we'll send you the replay, True Man Lynch, um, where they were paying the guy $40,000 more than me. I think they paid me 10, they paid him 50. And I knew he wasn't 40,000 better than me. Okay. And I asked the person that booked the conference, how much did you pay that person? I said, well, we paid him 50,000. And I said, well, who connected with the audience better, me or him? They said, well, you did. Who did they like more? Me. They liked you better. Who did your staff like better? Because I was respectful to, well, they like you better. Then why did you pay him 50 and me 10? Could it be because I didn't ask for 50? Now I want you to think about that. I don't need to be mad at him for getting 50. I need to be mad at myself for not having the guts to ask for 50. That's who I need to be mad at. When I compare, I need to compare that he had more guts than I did to ask for more money than I did. He had no consideration. And that, my friend, is how you use the negative side of prey drive. So if you're out there watching this tonight, today in my coaching program, a monster producer, I was teaching the monsters how to lose hesitation, how to take an action, how to overcome a fear, how to ask another person for something, how to quit being worried about rejection and anxiety, and just ask, man. All they can do is tell you no. And I'm just now getting to this point in my life at 40 something years old where I'm not afraid, man. I'm not afraid of these negative emotions. I'm not afraid of fear and anxiety. There's still a few things I'm afraid of. I'm not, but how do I use these as my friend? So I'm going to take some questions tonight. Fear, anxiety, disappointment, anger, jealousy. Because I talked to Tim Grover today. I don't think he was able to join us. He was going to be able to join us on here. Uh, he worked with Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant and Dwayne Wade and the top people in the world. And he would tell you from his book, Relentless, that they all had a dark side. I got a dark side to me, man, which is this pure, raw, rough ambition. And it will supersede everything in my life if I'm not careful. My desire to win and my desire to fight through and my desire to get where I'm going at the expense of almost anything in the world is a dark side to me. Okay. And that is why, you have to learn to harness these things. You have to learn to control these things. You have to learn to use these things. You have to like harness it because it can be destructive, right? This ability to pursue something so hard that you don't care, okay, can be destructive. So I want you to know that, man, it's okay, right? From the time that Adam and Eve sinned, we've all had a dark side to see something and want to pursue it. And sometimes at the expense of everything. Like some people self-sabotage. So I really will hope tonight's webinar got you thinking about how to use common emotions, conflict, disappointment, anger, fear, all of those things. So I really want you to take action and spend time with me. Spend a half a day with me on the Flip the Switch boot camp coming up January 20th, man. Spend a half a day with me. It's $57, folks. Show it to your team. Show it to your kids. All right, let's see some of the questions that we have in here. And let me go back. Jeffrey Jesse, could you speak on the positives and negatives of expectation? I think you need ridiculous amounts of expectation. Okay. I think you need to be in environments where people have very high expectations of you. I don't think that's a negative at all. I think you need time compression, big targets, and to be unreasonable. That's what I think you need. I think expectation is a good thing. You want your kids in schools that have expectations. You want your employees to have expectations of targets they're supposed to hit. You want to create high prey drive environments. In today's world, we've allowed people, this concept of um, they have no expectation, man. Do what you want, when you want, how you want, from home. You don't have to hit your sales goals. We can't fire you. It's all bullshit. Okay. You're never going to perform with no accountability, folks. I don't care who you are. Everybody needs accountability. They asked Jordan, would he play without Phil Jackson? What did he say? Don't put me in a position to not play without my coach. So great question. All right. Now I've got a few questions here. How do you use fear being scared? Now here's the deal. Most people, when they make a transition in life, are going to go through uh, a cycle. There's an ending, there's a disorientation, there's a new beginning. The middle part of transition is scary. When I retired from athletic coaching, I was scared to death. I was going to miss it. I was going to lose it. It's the only thing I ever knew. The only way I knew that I wasn't afraid of losing it was to go do it, man. To go get my speaking engagement, to go take an action, to pick up the phone and call. I didn't think, well, I'm broke or I don't have any money. Like it never crossed my mind like that. I don't know that I was ever that broke because my pure instinct took over and I went out and I got I got a big client that paid the bills. And so I wasn't broke like I don't have any money. I don't remember being broke like that. But I do remember being scared to death of losing my other job, man. That's what I remember. And excuse me, like leaving athletic coaching, believing that I couldn't do it. All right. Here's a question. Okay. Do I drink alcohol? Eliminate this. My life is restricted me. Now here's the deal. I do drink some alcohol. I do not drink a lot of alcohol. And I would tell you that the alcohol brings out a dark side of me. Okay, so if I drink alcohol, I work hard, and from 20 to 30, man, I played hard. I work hard, and I drank heavily on the weekends. I was in bars and chasing women, and I was wild, guys. I know that may be hard for you to believe today. Maybe it's not, but I was wild. I made a lot of bad decisions. Um, Cost me probably a lot of time in my life. Hung over. I made a decision to go pro in my life, which meant now I use the weekends. Now I use the weekends to rejuvenate, to come in better, not hungover. Doesn't mean I don't drink every now and then. I do have some alcohol every now and then with friends, but I can't place myself in those situations a lot because we'll bring out the dark side of me. It's not good environments for me. Okay. Because you can't control yourself when you get in situations like that. So I think if you're making a decision to go pro and alcohol brings out the dark side of you that you can't control, you need to say, man, maybe I need to check that. I can tell you there was a dude I talked to today. I know his problem is he's drinking too much. I know he's not paying his bills. I know he's showing up. I had a guy that was handling all of my suits and everything. And man, I knew something was off with him every day. He'd show up with my suits, man. And then he died. He died of, I don't know what he died of, alcohol poisoning. He died of something, but he just couldn't control it, man. One of my players overdosed. Just one of my former basketball players overdosed just a few weeks ago. She just couldn't handle isolation. She needed accountability. She needed structure. So I think if that's you, and when you drink, you get out of hand, man, you need to watch your drinking, okay, or not drink. All right, here's a question. You experience all these emotions too. Who helps you? Who coaches you? That's a great question. I have coaches in my life. I have mentors. I have guidance. I have coaches. I have pastors. I fight the same emotions you guys do: anger, disappointment, fear, insecurity. I think one of the things I do is I stay so focused on my future that I don't have a lot of time to get in a lot of trouble. I am so in motion every day. And I do believe idle time is the devil's workshop. So my schedule is so booked and so packed, and I'm so committed to my goals that I don't have a lot of time to allow distraction and negative emotions to creep in. I can go negative. Um, but I don't allow myself to go negative. I can't allow myself to go negative that much because my goals are too big. I don't have time to be negative. So when fear comes up, like there's a couple big decisions I'm making right now, financial decisions, and they're scary, man. But I got rules in my life. Never play not to lose. When you play not to lose, it guarantees losing, folks. So I got to make decisions out of abundance and scarcity. I can't make versus scarcity. I can't make decisions out of being afraid of everything. Because when I do, I make bad decisions. I make bad decisions in isolation of other people. I make bad decisions when I'm afraid. I make bad decisions when I don't take action. So here, what I need to do, I don't need to be in isolation. I don't need to be afraid. I don't need to not want accountability. And I don't need to make decisions out of fear. These are rules that I live by, right? When in doubt, do what, folks? Take an action. I didn't say spend money, although sometimes, right? Great question. Can you activate your prey drive and still be humble? 100%. I think I am a humble person. Um, I don't like arrogance. Arrogance is when your self appraisal is much higher than your market value. I think you can be incredibly humble, know where you are in the world, still want to pursue things. So don't associate humility with prey drive. Prey drive is an instinct to pursue. Okay, and you know, it pursue your potential, but you got to keep it in perspective. I think about, whether it be King Solomon in the Bible. I mean, read Ecclesiastes. Like they'll be like, Lord, I pursued all this for what? For this? It's nothing. I'm pursuing potential. I'm pursuing my God-given abilities. I'm pursuing. I'm not pursuing for status necessarily. I'm pursuing what I think I'm capable of doing to help other people. Okay. Now, along with that may come status and may come all those things. So I think it's a very valid question, but I do think you can remain incredibly humble, but still be in pursuit of your potential. Great question. All right, folks, I got time for two more. Then I got to go see my kids, go see them youngins. All right. Speak on going from fallen star to superstar. Man, that's a good one. Um, there's a lot more questions in here. Um, I think a and true man, I'll come back to your question. I think if you're a fallen star, you were once a star. And a lot of fall, I live in Nashville. There's a lot of big time stars that were big stars and they've lost their mojo, man. And I could probably make a living just coaching people that used to be big stars that now are not big stars. I'm thinking about one of my good buddies that lost all of his confidence. And he's so talented. And I think if you've ever been a big star at something, you know you can do it. The question is, the game changes. And sometimes you can't do it like you used to do it. You need a new game to play. You need a new way to play it. So sometimes fallen stars become fallen stars because they don't change. They don't adapt. They don't play the game. They don't learn the skill. They don't work the muscle. And therefore they were big stars that are now baby stars. But listen, every big star was once a baby star that wanted to be big. Okay. True man. I have an issue with overthinking. I believe it comes with the fear of not being prepared. I believe, true man, that confidence is a memory of success, comes through preparation, comes through repetition, comes through practice, comes through role play. So if you don't have confidence to take an action, it's probably because you hadn't put the work in to practice, as Brad Lee would say, practice, role play, repeat, repetition. Okay, that's probably the problem there. So when the moment comes, it's like the old 10 cup saying, okay, either you define the moment or the moment defines you, folks. Either you define the moment or see, I want it when the moment comes, boom, I want to define the moment. This is a moment that I'm been preparing my whole life for. I'm ready to take an action. I've been waiting on this shot. I'm getting in the game. I'm in. So for you, um, that could be part of the challenge right there. Is that maybe you're not confident because you haven't paid the price yet. You pay the price through reps. Okay, thank you, Joseph. All right, tell me who else taking action tonight, folks. Oh, coach came and gave you the fire. How many people took action on a $57 3 hours with me? If you took action, post. Thank you, Josh. If you took action, post in there that you took action on the $57. Mark Kapsky, thank you. William DeVoy, David, thank you. Thank you guys for believing in me to be your coach. I'm telling you, man, you're never going to go wrong with Prey Drive. I'm going to become the foremost thinker on this concept. Jeffrey, Jesse, Chris, Francisca, take action right now. Thank you, guys. True man, thank you. John Hart, thank you for being an advocate for me. Bring a friend. That's what we ought to be doing, Kara. It's bring a friend day at Coach Burt Land. It's like bring a friend to church day. If you haven't taken action yet, folks, it's 57 bucks. Come and spend 3 or 4 hours with me on this concept. I'm telling you, I'm going to become the foremost leading expert. Thank you, Sadinia. Michael, thank you. I'm going to become the foremost leading thought leader. Thank you, Scott Jacobs. Proud of you for taking action at Pray Drive moment. Scott had a Pray Drive moment at dinner with me last week, folks. Took an action on his book. I'm proud of you. I've been using your concept, Scott. Maybe I need to license and pay you for it. Hey, you get out of it what you put into it, brother. You get out of it what you put into it. Thank you for taking action on the Monster Publishing. So, folks, last chance to get in. It's $57. Spend 3 hours with me on Pray Drive, January the 20th. I'm excited about being your coach that day. Some of you are in Monster Producer. Thank you for going deeper with me. These boot camps and webinars ain't easy, man. They ain't easy to give you this much energy after a whole day of coaching, folks. I got a 2.5-day summit this week that I'm doing at my lodge. And hopefully you feel like you get your money's worth with me and then some. I believe when a man asks you to go 1 mile, go 2. Okay, Josh, $397, but you did it. I'm going to get you that $997 next, Josh. Okay, we're going to get all right. Eric White was pitching. Thank you, Antonio. Eric White was pitching 25K deals today. Lori Maples, what's up? Okay, thank you for that. Eric White was pitching. We sold a $40,000 package today. Monster Tycoon level, baby. Pitched to 25K level. You can't go big if little got you, folks. You can't go big if little got you. So I'm Coach Burt. Everybody needs a coach. Take action on the $57 deal. Don't be afraid to use these negative emotions, the dark side of Pray Drive. Conversion, conversion, conversion. God bless you guys. Have a great night.